I've always been fascinated by that force that shapes human beings. Who am I and what am I here to give?
I was looking at the list of people that you have helped. Bill Clinton, Princess Diana, Mikhail Gorbachev, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Quincy Jones.
What do all these people have in common with one another? They all were coached by Tony Robbins.
It's not about motivation as much as it is allowing people to tap into what's already there, like a catalyst.
This whole idea that Tony had of modeling. Look at people who do things that inspire you and then apply it to your own life.
If you want to change your state and you want to change your results, this is where you do it.
Coming actually here to have that many people focused on one intent, super powerful. It's rocket fuel.
Tony's events have attracted more than 50 million people from around the world.
Buongiorno! Ohio gozaimasu!
Tony has reached over 4 million people from 100 countries with his seminars, books, audio, and video recordings. The companies that Tony Robbins has started and partnered with gross over $5 billion in annual revenue.
But it's all come out of this hunger to constantly make things better.
Tony strives to change lives around the world for the better.
People forget what a little bit of caring can do for, to inspire or to move somebody, and that's what I think changes people's lives. Our job as leaders is see it better than it is. That is not positive thinking, it's called vision.
Today we're in the company of a phenomenal success story. Dean Graziosi is a multimillionaire, New York Times best-selling author.
Talking about over 1 million books sold total.
We have a living legend, Dean Graziosi.
We have a living legend when it comes to personal development.
You're talking about a man with hundreds of millions of dollars in sales.
One of the biggest names in the history of this segment.
He's also reaching millions of people online and is live.
So much. You've impacted so many lives.
Literally booked this event because we wanted you to come speak at this event.
What I love about Dean is he's a genius at what he does, but the man, as corny as it sounds, he cares. It's easy to care verbally with your lips. He cares with the direction his feet move.
Hey guys, it's about 6 a.m. I'm on the top of Camelback Mountain.
What's up, what's up?
What's up, what's up? What's up, what's up? What's up, what's up? Just got done running the mountain.
Well, it's entrepreneurs like Dean that are helping make the world a better place.
What's even more remarkable is Dean started by dysfunctional home. He lived in a trailer.
You're a powerful, big spirit.
Sometimes it takes someone seeing in you what you don't even see in yourself.
His ability to captivate and inspire people.
And so there's so much wisdom in there.
Incredible generosity and your enthusiasm.
Give it up for Dean. The man changed my life.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Robbins with my buddy Dean. How are you today?
What's up?
Listen, we're really grateful that you guys joined us for this little 90-minute run. It's a real privilege to be with you. We have, over 260,000 people that signed up to come today. So if this was a live event, we'd have several football fields
Yeah,
of people.
exactly.
I know you're from all over the world, and we really want to make sure we serve you today. I want to start by asking a simple question. I'm going to go first for a little bit, then the Dean will go. And that is, if you were coming to the end of your life, and it was a life well lived, a life you were really proud of, a life that felt magnificent, what would matter you more? Making a massive amount of money or having a massive impact on the quality of people's lives all around you in your life? And when I ask that question, I got to tell you, my answer is why pick between the two? The two of us have had this privilege of being in this knowledge business as it grew from its infancy to now where it's really literally exploding. And we've had the opportunity to do something that we both enjoy because it's meaningful. I mean, you could sell widgets all day long, but when you can help somebody change the quality of their life because you busted your tail and you got some insights in how you run a business or how you write software or how you cut hair, how you do anything, any kind of specialized knowledge that you can share with people that can make the quality of their life or their business better is pretty damn exciting. Let me just say that what excites me about this and the reason we put this project together is there is a power that changes people's lives that most people just aren't aware of, the majority of the population. I always say that our lives are changed by invisible forces, and it sounds kind of corny, but if you think about it, the things that shape you the most are things like radiation, too little you're dead, too much you're dead, gravity, human emotion, love and hate probably shape you more than anything else, and they're invisible forces. Electricity, right? That's why we're able to have this conversation with you. But I believe one of the most powerful invisible forces, one of the most powerful forces on earth that's changed our lives and the purpose of this conversation is understanding the power of self-education. See, I was a kid in a really rough environment. I had 4 different fathers. We were poor as can be. We had no food. You know, some of you know I feed 100 million meals a year for the last 5 years. I'm going to feed 1 billion people over the next 5 through Feeding America. And it's not because I'm such a good person. It's because I suffered so much, and I didn't want other people to suffer. And so, you know, as I looked at my life way back then, I didn't have the tool to say, here's the pathway to go. There was no one to educate me. There were no mentors. There were no coaches in those days. There was only therapists. And so I looked around and I started reading, and I absorbed books. That was my way to get out of that environment. And I was able to get this specialized knowledge there. But what really shifted me completely was when I really started to go to seminars and I started listening to audio programs. And in those days, you know, 6 cassettes cost $300 with 6 little workbooks, you know. And I would save up my money as a janitor to try to figure out how I could go get this knowledge, because I wanted to change my life, and I was so driven to want to change other people's lives. But that basic fundamental skill that we're going to show you how to expand and turn into a business based on our, you know, I've done for 42 years, he's done it for 20, so 60 plus years of experience, is we want to show you the shortcuts that if you don't even have a clue what knowledge you might have that can make a difference, show you how you can extract that. If you are a person that feels, I don't have that skill, there's somebody else out there that I really love, I want more people to know about him, like I did with my original teacher, Jim Rohn. You could become a knowledge broker, or you could become somebody that really just wants to understand what makes people the best at something, go interview all the best people and become a reporter of it, which will start to make you an expert. We want to show you the pathway that can happen, because for me and for Dean, it changed our lives in ways you couldn't imagine. We went from kids struggling who, you know, I was supposed to be a truck driver. My mom kept having me watch these commercials, Truckmaster. Some of you old enough may remember that.
I remember it.
Truckmaster School, $29.95. You can learn to make $24,000 a year driving a truck. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with driving a truck if that's what you love, but I don't want to sit. I'm a go make things happen person. I didn't want that stuff. Fortunately, there was a pathway out. And today it's so much easier. But I wasn't aware of it. It was self-education. That took me from this kid who was desperate to figure out how to be able to have enough money to help feed his family and be part of that process, to now traveling the world, where I've had the chance to coach 5 U.S. presidents. I've worked with 4 royal families, you know, some of the greatest athletes in the world, the greatest billionaire business people. I get to work with them. I get to talk to groups of 10 to 15,000 people. This year, I've got 3 50,000 person events, to give you an idea, football stadiums. So I'm not saying at the end of this hour, you're going to be doing that. But I want to show you how I started with literally nothing, and how Dean started with nothing, and how we entered a business that was really raw and hard in those days.
It wasn't cool at all.
Not cool, and very hard to do, and very expensive to how to do this. I mean, I can remember my first seminar, I put all my money, time, and energy in. I was giving it away. I rented the LA Hilton Hotel downtown. Cost me a fortune. I ran all these ads, not like today where you go to Facebook and find who you want. It was these wide ads hoping somebody'd see it. And I thought no less than 500 people are going to show up, and 7 lonely souls showed up, and they're all late. And I was like, and they're spread around the room, and I pull them in the front row and just give it all to them. But we're going to show you how we went from that to now where I have 54 companies. We're doing over $6 billion in combined sales in all these industries, and where my core business of changing lives is still the most meaningful thing in my life and the most fulfilling. So I want to give you the insights of 40 years of experience and see if in this little 90-minute period we can really stimulate you to see what's possible, so that you could do something on the side that just provides a nice income for you that you love, or you could build it into something over time that's extraordinary. So thanks for joining us. And my only request is turn off your phones, turn off all the beeping from social media and so forth. Stay with us for this 90 minutes, and let's really go deep and figure out what we can do to take the next level. Here's my buddy Dean.
Good to have you here. So here's the thing. What Tony's saying really summarized is the knowledge industry, the self-education industry, was something some people dabbled in when Tony started 42 years ago, when I started 20 plus years ago. But the world has shifted, and people are realizing that they would rather learn from a non-professional doer than a professional teacher. And I don't mean any disrespect to a teacher, but people are voting with their money, not just by what Tony and I are saying, with their money, because right now the knowledge industry is a $355 million a day industry, an industry that Tony helped originate. And I want to tell that story in a second here, but I want you to think what Forbes just said is that this industry by 2025 will be $1 billion a day. This is the launching pad. This is the time to get in. And what we're going to show you today is how would you like to get paid for a skill, a hobby, a passion, an expertise you have, even if you don't think you have one. Wouldn't that be amazing to help somebody, impact their lives, and get paid? But I know this sounds crazy, but before we're done today, you're going to realize if you don't have a skill, you just got out of college, you feel like you didn't do anything that would be impactful, all of that's going to change when you learn how Tony started and how I started and the path we created to be the reporter or the broker, which really means if you're watching right now and you're someone that wants overnight success, want to get rich in 2 minutes, you want a business in a box, that you don't want to do the work, you feel like you can get wealthy without doing much, this isn't for you. This is, if you want to stay for entertainment, that's great, but that's, if you know anything about Tony and I.
I don't know for that entertaining.
Yeah, I don't know for that entertaining. That's a really good one. But if that's what you're thinking, this isn't the spot. But if you're watching right now and you crave another level, if you are dying to start your own thing, your own business, your own company, you're going to want to watch. We have 60 plus years. This is such an amazing industry. Impact and profits. If you have your own business and you're in the middle someplace, decent profits, a lot of stress, this is perfect for you. And if you're crushing it and you're on a whole nother level and you're ready to go to the next, this is where you can make significance, impact, and help other people grow while you get paid for your knowledge. So I guess the thing is, if you're here, and God, we have record-breaking numbers right now, I want you to stay with us all the way to the end, because we're going to paint the picture of something you probably never heard of. And here's the best part. Where is the biggest opportunity in anything in life? When was it like the Netflix compared to Blockbuster, the Uber compared to taxi, the internet compared to snail mail and not being connected? The biggest opportunity is when there's a big problem, a big, massive problem that needs to be solved. Yeah. And that problem is being solved through self-education. The education right now, traditional education, is broken. We'll talk more about that later. You have the opportunity to fix that with our guidance. Together, we can help impact the world while simultaneously you tap into a new revenue stream as it's taken off. And I just want to say one thing, Tony, talking about your story, and I don't want to go too much in my story. I want to get right to this so you understand here tonight. We know you're taking time to be with us right now all over the world. Some of you in the middle of the night, I saw they're setting their alarms to be with us, so thank you. But I want to tell you what got me in this industry before it was cool is because I watched a late night infomercial of Tony Robbins 25 years ago. And I gave a credit card, even though my friends, my father told me I was nuts. He told me, get a refund right now, get a refund. Literally, I got information and that information changed my life. He didn't send me a car. He didn't send, I paid hundreds of dollars. I got these CDs. I obsessed. You said if you're obsessive, you listen to them in a weekend. I have 4 days. I digested all of them within 10 days. I listened to them twice. And my life fundamentally shifted. 2 years later, I filmed my own infomercial because I saw the impact it had on me. I wanted to teach other people. That was 22 years ago. I've been on TV pretty much nonstop since then and touched the lives of millions of people around the world. I've done over $1 billion with my brand, educating people. Yes, I've done real estate. Yes, I've done 13 different companies. But the one that lights me up, the one that's truthfully generated me more revenue than anything else, was being in the knowledge business. But we started when it was hard. The world has changed. Instead of social media using you, tonight when you're done, you're like, holy crap, I can use social media to impact lives, get paid, and be a part of this evolution.
You look at the industry right now, Airbnb is another example, because co-founder is one of my dear friends, and these guys started the same thing. They started not being able to pay their bills, and so they got these little blow-up mats and said, let's rent our room for some people here. And to see that grow in 9 years, I mean, Hilton Hotels, as an example, has been around 99 years, and their valuation is $20 billion. It's pretty amazing. And you look at my buddy at Airbnb, and Joe Gebbia, his little company has been around 9 years, and it's worth $32 billion.
It's amazing.
I mean, that's the world that we're in. So let me give you a 2-second background so you get a sense how I got in this, because sometimes you see, oh, we're doing billions, and that's way beyond me, and it is beyond you where you are right now, unless you're already, got momentum and you're going. But I want to let you know that this all started with me really shifting my beliefs. Because I want you to know, we can show you all the tools to make happen, but lots of people know what to do, but they don't do what they know. And so part of what we do in our course and what we do in our experience here is we really make sure that we get your head straight. So I want to start by asking a question, because, let me tell you how I got the business first, and then the question will answer for you. I'm working as a janitor. I'm in high school. I'm working my tail off. I'm in a tough environment. I'm trying to help my family put food on the table while I'm still going to high school. And one weekend I get an opportunity to go work with this man who my father at the dinner table said, oh, he was such a jerk. He was such a failure. He was such a loser. Now he's so successful. And it hooked my ear. And he was buying and selling homes and real estate. This is in the late 1970s in Orange County, California. And I heard all this, and he said he needs somebody to help do moving. And I thought, I'll work to move, but I really want to know what made this man successful. Because even then I was hungry to know what the difference was in people. I didn't want to just generalize and say somebody else was lucky. And so I worked my tail off all weekend long and lifting all this heavy stuff. At the end, he goes to pay me and says, what a great hard worker. I says, well, here, give me some advice. My father said you used to be such a jerk, and now you're so successful. You used to be such a loser. Only kids can say this stuff, right? It's a true story. And he looked at me and said, your dad said that? He goes, well, I kind of was a little bit of a loser. And I said, well, what changed you? And he said, I went to a seminar. I didn't know there was a knowledge business. I didn't know what a seminar was. I said, well, what's a seminar? He said, well, it's where a man takes 25, 30 years of his life, and he sorts through all the best that he's learned, and he teaches you in 3 or 4 hours and saves you decades in a day. And I was like, wow. I said, I think I'd like to go to this. Could I get in? Could you get me in? He goes, yeah. I said, well, will you? And he said, no. And I said, well, why not? He goes, because you won't value it if you don't pay for it. And I was like, yeah, I'll value it. He goes, no. I said, how much is it? He says, $35. I'm making $40 a week as a janitor at the time going to high school. I said, that's a week's pay. He said, well, then learn on your own. Take 20 years, 30 years, and hopefully you'll figure it out. And skip the 3 hours in a week's worth of pay. So to me, it was like the biggest decision in the world to spend a week's worth of pay to go to this little 3-hour seminar and hear this man speak. But he answered a question for me that night that was critical. See, I grew up so poor financially. And, after father, and I had more pain about the loss of the fathers than I did the lack of food, quite frankly. And I was like, I guess when you don't have money, people leave. That was in my head. And I was like, I'm going to do well someday. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to learn. And then I go to Jim Rohn's seminar, and the question I always had is, why is it that my fathers all worked hard and we have no money for food? And then Jim Rohn answered the question. He asked the question in the seminar that shifted my belief. He said, is it possible to me, and I'm asking you this question right now, is it possible to make twice as much money in the same amount of time? What's your answer? If somebody said,